Ask Practical Doug.
It is that time again for Ask Practical Doug. For those of you who are new to this segment, there's a small Doug that lives inside the larger Doug. That small Doug is known as Practical Doug, and he helps steer Big Doug in most of life's decisions. And our fans get to ask Practical Doug any question they want. So if you would like to ask Practical Doug a question, you can jump on social media and even hashtag Ask Practical Doug. You can jump into our Discord. You can join us live here when we stream on Tuesdays, and you can ask in the chat. Today's question comes all the way from tomorrow. Jared in Australia is asking, Practical Doug, how early should you pack for a trip? For example, if you're going interstate for a week, how far ahead would you pack for an international trip?
That's a great question, Jared, and thank you for asking. For me, it's Practical Doug. I like to get all of the things that I don't need packed, right? Because I don't like to rush. I don't want to forget something. I want to make sure that I have everything lined up. And I've done this before, where I wait to the last minute. I'm just throwing stuff because I don't know. I like to say I'm a typical dude. I don't need much. My packing is usually done very quickly. I don't have hair, so I don't have to worry about shampoo or, a lot of that sort of stuff. So it's pretty easy. Nice. It's pretty easy for me to pack for stuff. But especially for something like, a weekend trip, it's pretty easy. Throw a couple things in a bag, bing, bang, boom, you're done. Interstate for a week, no big deal. International, different story, right? Because you got a lot more things to consider. You got to make sure you have your passport. You got to make sure you've got, nowadays it's not as big of a deal. It's like the right currency. You can just use your debit card and shit like that as long as you let them know what's going on. But you've got to, there's a lot more that goes into that. You also want to pack light, because you don't want to be carrying around a bunch of shit all the time. So to really get to the crux of this is, if it's, if you're doing international, give yourself the time. You don't need your passport. You're not using it every day. So pack it early, get it in there, get it done. Figure out what clothes you're not going to wear before your trip that you are going to wear on your trip. Get them in there. Get the shoes in there that, wait, it's like moving. You don't pack up your kitchen stuff until the last minute, right? Because you kind of have to. You need silverware, plates, and all that sort of stuff. But your comic books, those can get packed away. Your DVDs, if you still have them, those could go away. All that stuff that you can just sort of, put in there that's not necessary, put it in there. So I say give yourself, if you're going international, give yourself a couple of days. Make sure you're prepared. Get all that stuff ready to go. If you're going interstate, who gives a shit, man?
Pack all your comic books for when you travel internationally.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I was...
Okay, that's what I heard. Yeah.
No, I have a question for Practical Doug, I suppose. Is Practical Doug because you're a practical person, or is this a persona that you take on while you answer these questions?
Both.
Okay, because while you're answering this, I'm like, I don't know, I pack my bag 30 minutes before I have to leave. That is typically how that works.
That's great.
A week early is a level of planning that I can't even fathom.
It's it depends.
Usually the night before or the day before. I'll spend the day kind of throwing things and getting things ready and together. But I feel like a week is definitely far further.
I'll do it in my head the night before. I'll be like, what do I need? All right, cool. I got to remember to grab all that stuff.
It also depends on when you're leaving, right? If you're catching a 6 a.m. flight, or something like that, sure. I want to make sure my shit's ready to go. I don't want to have to wake up and be like, oh, what did I forget? Sort of thing. So yeah, I think the night before is fine. It should definitely be good to go the night before, so that everything else in the morning is easy peasy. It's like there's some sort of thought process of whatever if you have something to do, write it down so that you don't have to store it in your brain to think about it all the time, so that you remind yourself not to forget. It's like write it down somewhere so it's like it's captured. And then when you're ready to go back and be like, what do I need to do? It's on a list. You check it off. Because I do that all the time with groceries. I screw myself over. I'm like, I need sesame oil. I'll remember that. I don't.
Right.
Instead of writing it on my list immediately.
That's where I text my partner. I'm like, what do we need again? Then I can just open my text messages and then I can look at everything, because I have written things down. Like, I cannot forget this. So I'll write it down, and then I forget to write it down because I don't write anything down. So then it gets lost. But if I put it in a text message, I'll text it to myself sometimes. I'll be like, I got to remember this later. And I just text myself I'll leave it unread, which I hate doing.
Oh,
just so that
me
like
too.
I know it's there. I know it's there because I have a notification. I don't want any notifications.
Those red bubbles. Oh, those red bubbles. I hate them so much.
I can't stand them. Yeah, same. And see, for groceries, I have a Trello list. I don't know if you're familiar with Trello, but it's like I have a card that is just a giant list of food that I typically get, and so I just always leave them there. And when I go through, I just uncheck everything that I need to get for that week, and then check it again as I get it. So instead of like painstakingly being like, what do I need this week? I need eggs again. I need bread. I'm like, no, just uncheck eggs, bread, and everything like that. So it's a lot, and I have it categorized by like where things are in the store, like what's in the deli, what's in the freezer section, so I can easily go as I'm going and collect things because I'm a nerd.
So, Christian, to answer your question about is Practical Doug a persona or really inside of him, there you go.
Yeah, because while he's answering that, I'm just like, it's a much better system than when like I'm hungry and then I'll go to the grocery store and I'll buy like the 50 things I don't need and then I forget to buy the thing I should have gotten because I was hungry.
Done that too many times.
My father-in-law, I think he is expert level, pro level packer. He knows how to go on a trip. I have traveled with him on many occasions to various local and international and, different parts of the country. Again, short distances, long distances, and international. Every single time doesn't matter how long it is, he fits everything he needs into a duffel bag, a backpack, like a rucksack. And he puts it over, never fucks with checked bags, never has to fuck with any. Wow. He is the most efficient traveler I have ever met in my life. And I strive to one day be as efficient as he is.
That's impressive.
I've never seen someone, I'm like, you have everything you need. He's like, yep, it's all good. I'm like, I disagree. And then he Mary Poppins it. He just pulls this shit out. And it's amazing. It is amazing. So if you want, you look him up online. He has minimal social media presence, but he's there. You can find him. Go find him. I'm not going to give you his name. You got to
go make like a TikTok with him where he shows how he packs his bag.
That would be amazing.
That might be the way to go. Yeah.
But don't make a board game based on his basement because it would be one location and the person would win once they get there.
Exactly.
Everything's in the bag.
It's so well.
It would be a really boring game.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to play this character. You can't play that character. It's like playing Bo Jackson in Tecmo Super Bowl. You're cheating.
The best part is though, if he's like, we'll talk to him and like, oh, you got a week until if he's going somewhere. You got a week until you're going somewhere. He's like, yep, I'm all packed. I'm like, you are so efficient. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
Jared said my ex was packing while we were waiting for the Uber for an international flight. That gives me such anxiety.
I don't like that at all.
I don't like that at all.
Way that you broke up
that's a step too far for even me. If it's an international flight. If I had an international flight, it'd be the first time I actually got to the airport like more than like 2 hours before.
Yeah.
And that would be the one time where I'm like, all right, I'm going to follow all the rules because you don't want to fuck this up.
Yeah, my mom was very prolific at following the rules and suggested times so we would always be at the airport like 2.5 hours before our flight. I remember being like, why are we here? And when I got older, I'm like, I'm going to get there an hour and a half early. And I'm like, look, nothing happened. It's totally fine.
And I still have time for the bar.
Exactly. Like, it's just, brutal stuff. And unfortunately, that was imprinted on me.
I'm way too, I worry way too much about that. So I I leave myself a solid 2 hours, if not more. And I'm like, you know what? I really don't care. Like I got books. I got, my phone. I'll wander up. I'll hit the bar, whatever. I'll figure out something to do.
Gotta give my mom credit. You know what we never did? Never missed a flight.
Bingo.
Whenever I travel solo, I get to LAX sometimes like 45 minutes before the flight.
Nice.
And I'm just like, I'm kind of going a little bit fast. Like, I'm doing a fast walk. But whenever I fly solo, this is like the ultimate white male privilege thing. I always get pulled and they're like, just go through the fast line. Like every time. I don't pay for it. And they're always, they're like, every now and then they go through and they pull off people and they're like, are you alone? I'm like, yeah. They're like, you could go. And I like look like at some of the people behind me. And I'm like, they must be so, they fucking hate me right now.
That's amazing.